Our last speaker is Val Smith, the Director of Corporate Sustainability from Citi. Val?
In the little bit of free time that I have, I'm also a long-distance runner, and I think that events like this are good analogies for marathons. It's really exciting. It's really inspiring. You kind of hit the wall at one point, and you really have to push through to get over the hump. So I think we're at about mile 24 in our 26-mile journey, and hopefully we can all push forward together to get to the finish line. Let me just set a little bit of background about Citi and our environmental strategy. It's based on 3 pillars, which basically boils down to making money, managing risk, and saving money. So just to dive into those for a moment. Environmental finance, the first pillar, is really about making money. It's about directing financing to innovative environmental investments. It's about what this event is about today. At Citi, we wrap this up into a target. It's our $50 billion climate initiative. We announced last month that we hit this target 3 years early, with a total of $54 billion since and including 2007. The second pillar is actually the one that Alfred mentioned when he got a question during the Q&A, is managing environmental and social risk. This is really about working with our clients on large projects around the world, whether it's a mining project, an oil and gas project, a large infrastructure project, and partnering with them to manage and figure out how to mitigate environmental and social risks associated with those transactions. The third pillar, operations and supply chain. We have about 12,000 facilities in over 100 countries. There are a lot of direct impacts associated with those. There's also a huge opportunity for cost saves. So we really focus on reducing our energy use, reducing our water use, managing our waste to landfill, and do that both from a waste reduction or from a reduction standpoint and also through a green building program. So that's the background of how Citi approaches environmental issues, and I'm now going to drill into this first pillar, environmental finance. Ceres was actually mentioned by Lynn in her remarks. It is a very important organization. It's one that Citi is a member of as well. And earlier this year, they released a report called Investing in the Clean Trillion. Basically, what the report says is that to keep climate change, warming from climate change to a level of 2 degrees Celsius and avoid catastrophic climate change, by 2030, we'll need about $1 trillion in investment in clean energy annually. So to contextualize that, in 2012, there is about investment of about $280 billion in clean energy annually. Since Citi launched its $50 billion climate initiative in 2007, we averaged about $7.7 billion in clean energy finance that we either led or participated in annually. So there's a big gap that we have to fill. So when we're looking at how do we fill that gap, I think we look at different cases. I think we look for signs of success and try to figure out what we learned from those. So I'm going to talk about a few different examples of success and what I think we can learn from them. And I'll talk about them both from a mega project standpoint and to a local standpoint. Starting with the mega project, the Shepherd's Flat Wind Project, the Desert Sunlight Solar Project. These were 2 of the largest wind and solar financings and projects in the world. They were done by Citi in partnership with the Department of Energy and the state of California, whose residents will be using the power from these projects. Moving over to the second example around energy efficiency finance, the Warehouse for Energy Efficiency Loans. This is really about taking loans to homeowners for energy efficiency retrofits on the one hand, and on the other hand, securitizing packages of those loans so that they can be attractive to institutional investors. A third example is really around working with municipalities, such as the cities of Raleigh and Cary, on to issue bonds, to do financings, to help them do environmental finance, such as water reclamation, to help them meet their water reduction goals. We all have water reduction goals. We all have reduction goals, both cities and private entities. So when I went out to our bankers, to our alternative energy bankers, to our municipal bankers, and said, can you please send me good case studies for public-private partnerships? they sent me ones that I was already aware of, which was sort of handy, and I was aware of them because we often talk about those as the true examples of innovation. And we also talk about them in terms of deals that were really, really hard to get done, deals that required a little extra push, a little extra something to get you over the hump, to get you over the wall. And I realized that the keys to success that I think we've seen in Citi's financing in this space are really around partnerships and innovation and that extra secret ingredient that it does take you to get over the hump. So I think what I would like to leave the group and to continue doing the Q&A is two real lessons that occurred to me as I was listening to the speakers in the room, as I was thinking about a common thread through these transactions. And one is that unlikely partnerships really do drive innovation. And the other is that I think solving society's greatest challenges and solving the biggest problems in our communities, they provide that incentive to get people to really go the extra mile. Thank you.